Hey everybody, I'm here to give my responses. I got my notes, and so I'm just gonna go down my list here. Johnny, you had you had a great point, um, just emphasizing the importance and the power that the scribes had, and the priest, and you said that they had mansions. They had a lot of authority and a lot of power. And present day, it would be kind of weird if the most important people or the people with the most money lived in mansions. They were our pastors or our deacons or those kind of people. When there's so many hurting people in the world, this is a great way to connect it to present day. I don't think that there's a problem with having lots of money. I don't think there's a problem with having lots of power. But you do run into a lot of conflicting things. If you do have all that money and power, are you using it to honor God, or are you using it to honor yourself or lift yourself up? And so that's where, we're part of the Pharisee party, but that's where we look back, and we kind of condemn the Pharisees because they use their power and authority and their money to honor themselves and to lift themselves up. And of course, we never want to do that with anything that we have. Um, um, you had a good point too about just the natural response of the disciples. We read the Bible and we think this is so many thousands of years ago, and so we kind of separate the disciples from just regular human beings. And if my friend were to tell me, "Hey, I'm about to die. This is how I'm gonna die," um, just wanted to let you know, FYI, it'd be pretty hard to swallow. We kind of look back at them and say, well, they didn't want to follow the scriptures. They didn't want to understand the scriptures. They didn't know what was going on. How could they not know? But really, at present day, just a regular person, I mean, that would throw anybody off. And so you had a great point about that. Aaron, uh, I think you did a good job of talking about just um, just how the masses were oppressed by the nobles. Um, again, it's a story of the holy people, the people of God, the people that were supposed to be serving the people were in fact the ones that were oppressing the people, oppressing the poor, and oppressing the people that needed the most help. And that's a shame. Again, that just reminds me of how much we should not keep people down. We should try and do the opposite and lift people up. Um, you had a great analogy when you said, or you had a great point when you said Jesus came as a ransom, and that's ransoms are given to free the poor, to help the poor, and Jesus came to do that. Um, you know, um, that was just a great point. I love the scripture you read out of. Um, uh, that's one of my favorite sermons ever taught. The Drum Major Instinct by Dr. Martin Luther King. He talks about that scripture when they're arguing over which side that they want to sit on. Um, and Jesus said, "Hey, if you want to be great, then you serve. If you want to be lifted up, then you serve." And Jesus defined a new kind of greatness, a new kind of um, superiority, and that is, you will be great in the kingdom if you serve. And that means anyone has the authority, anyone has the ability to be great, because anybody can serve. And so, man, that's one of that scripture. Those scriptures are part of my favorite sermon of all time, because that passion to be in front, that passion to be first place and to be in front is not a bad passion, but we've manipulated that, we've twisted it, and we've abused it. We shouldn't, but we do. But if we want to be first, if we want to be first to serve, first to love, first to give, I think Jesus will be proud of us for that. Sparkle, you had a great story. I mean, that story of the ointment, pouring the oil, is pretty cool. You don't think about that as a sign of honor, thinking that she didn't have much to give, and you're right. She could have sold that little jar and helped the homeless. She could have helped herself, helped her family, but instead she decided, it's fitting to honor the king. Even if the disciples are getting in my way, even if they're fighting with me, trying to push me away, I'm going to use this to honor the king. And I think that's pretty good. And I think that points out just the upside down kingdom, the upside down king that Jesus was. He wasn't focused on setting up this army, setting up this kingdom on this earth, but he really wanted to serve the least of these. And I think that that's what was important to him, and it's what should be important to us. Thanks, guys.